Seal the memory with your words.
What does it take to get a bloody relationship these days? A lot of people finding themselves in these protracted casual situationships, dynamics that mimic relationships that give people the boyfriend-girlfriend experience, but try and pin someone down and ask them, are we actually in a relationship? Are we actually exclusive? Is this going somewhere? And suddenly they start to freak out. Is this something you can relate to? It's so easy when we like someone and they text us at the last minute saying, do you want to do something tonight? It's so easy to just say yes. Now, I'm not saying you should never respond to a spontaneous offer to see someone, but if you find yourself routinely responding to last minute offers, then you are devaluing yourself. Instead, send someone a message back that says, I'd have loved to, but I have plans tonight. Maybe give me more than 24 hours notice next time? Question mark, little blushy, smiling face. The temptation isn't there to sort of please someone by going with their rhythm, their pace, what they want. If someone else wants to have many drinks, we feel like we should have many drinks with them. Someone else wants to stay out late. We have work in the morning. We're going to be tired. We don't really want to stay out late, but we do. Someone wants to have sex or go home with us. We oblige because we feel like we should and we're attracted to them, but it's a bit fast for us, but I am attracted to them and maybe it won't hurt. So we do it, even though it's not something that we actually really consciously want to do. Don't just do it because the other person wants to. When you set the tone, when you go with your own flow, you get instant respect and you get taken seriously. Now, this doesn't have to be for date number 1. You can see if they're good at coming up with a plan for date number 1. But for date number 2 or 3 or 4, don't be afraid to be the one who actually takes initiative and suggests something. Why don't we do this? I found tickets to this thing. Do you want to go? It shows that, well, A, you're confident enough to suggest something. B, you're diverse in the kind of things you like to do. Hey, I saw this event, this mezcal tasting experience. Do you want to go do it? I thought it could be fun. But C, it also creates a sense of adventure that this person experiences with you. It's not just on a set dating track that mimics every other date he's been on. There is a unique experience and moments that you're going to have together.
And this one, it's subtle but powerful, because what you say after the date, that's the part that lingers in his head while he's brushing his teeth the next morning. Don't just be an idea in their world. Root yourself.
This is where you're the one who actually sends a text saying, I had a really lovely time tonight. Now, I actually don't get hung up on whether you're the one who sends the text first or you send this as a reply. My point is, don't be indifferent. Don't be too cool. Sending a text that says, I had a really great time tonight is an act of vulnerability, and it shows that the date actually meant something to you. And this is especially important after intimacy. If you go home with someone and have sex, the next day, don't play it cool and just be like, well, I'm just not going to text them. I'm going to wait for them to come to me. I'm not saying you have to rush to text them, but at some point that day, send them a message and say, I had a really amazing time with you. When you send that, what you're showing is that that actually had some meaning to you. And so the implication is you shouldn't treat me casually or lightly because that wasn't just nothing to me. Playing it cool backfires if it teaches someone, if the message received by them is that the moments, the intimacy, the experience of being together had no meaning to you. By the way, this is a technique called post-framing. What you're doing is attaching value to an event after it's happened so that that person knows that that event actually had some meaning to you. And it makes it more likely, therefore, that it will have meaning for them. If there was effort made by somebody, and by the way, you can do this in the same text I mentioned before, or you can do it in a different text, actually acknowledge the effort that was made. Hey, by the way, that was really sweet of you to arrange the tickets. Thank you so much. That shows that I actually noticed the effort you made. I'm shining a light on it so that you see that effort too. What it tells that person subconsciously is, oh, I made an effort. Look at that. And if someone actually acknowledges and realizes they made an effort, then it makes it more meaningful to them that they made that effort. And of course, the fact that you're appreciating it makes you valuable too, because not everyone does. One of the staples of someone being casual is them always having the dates on their terms, where they want, at a time that suits them. What we want to do is bring someone into our world. And one of the ways we can do that is simply by having them literally come to the area where we frequent, where we live. I'm not necessarily saying your house, your apartment, but have them come to your part of town, especially if that part of town means that they're the one who has to go out of their way this time. And I always think that bringing someone into your world is a way of bonding them to you more. If everyone is always kind of uprooting you from your world and putting you into theirs, then they're in their element and you sort of exist as this, you exist in the abstract in a way. You're not a person with a life and who is tethered in all of these ways and has these interests and here's where you live and here's the places you go to, here's your local coffee shop. No, instead you just exist in their world as an idea. One of the ways to be taken seriously is for someone to actually see your roots, who you are, what you're all about, the places that make someone realize, oh, this person is a person with a life and things they love.
Because the moment they see your world, they stop seeing you as a convenience and start seeing you as a real person with depth, habits, and value. It shifts the dynamic from you orbit them to you've got a gravity of your own.
The first time going to my now fiance Audrey's place and seeing plants all over the apartment, it was like a moment where I realized, oh, this is something she really loves, and I didn't know about it before that. And that created more of a three-dimensional picture of who she was. And like I've said before, when someone becomes three-dimensional to us, they are far harder to walk away from. Number 7, regardless of your beliefs about who should pay on a first date, at some point, pay for something. Whether it's you're the one who buys the tickets to something, or you pick up the tab in a restaurant, or you're ordering delivery and you just hand them your phone with the restaurant already selected and say, choose what you like, and you're the one who does it on your account. It shows that the dynamic isn't a transactional one. It shows the absence of any kind of entitlement, and it shows you're a team player, that you're willing to contribute. And when someone is thinking about their future, more than anything else, registering that someone is a team player is a deep reason for choosing someone.
Hold your standard, even when it's flirty.
This is where you send them a text message that calls back to something they have told you about themselves or their interests. So it could be that they talked about how they love movie scores, and you send them a text with a link to a movie score that you really love. I thought you'd like this since you're so into movie scores. When you do this, it's A, a little vulnerable on your part, and B, it shows that I actually, even in the amount of time that we know each other, which may not be very much, understand something about you. Something about what you like, who you are as a person. And in sending you something that relates to that, it's almost a form of acceptance, isn't it? It's a form of understanding and accepting who someone is. I mean, if you show up, to their house sometime and you say, I made these for myself earlier, but I saved you one because I know you really like cookies. Obviously the cookies are a metaphor. Unless you ever come to one of my events, in which case this is very literal and I will never be unhappy with you saving me a cookie. But it's also a metaphor. Let's just call this one tiny gifts. You don't want to do it with big gifts. Big gifts reek of trying too hard. But little gifts shows that I was thinking of you when we weren't together, and therefore you're a thoughtful, kind person to be taken seriously. Number 11, be playfully assumptive. If someone sends you a message that says, what you up to? You say, why? Miss me? Then you follow with another message before you freak out and go, that's so arrogant, I would never say that. You immediately follow up and you say, just kidding. I'm with my sister right now. We're having such a good time. What are you up to? But the work has already been done. You've already had that moment of being self-assured, being extra confident, and also putting in their mind the idea that they miss you. So that thought has been created. You texted me because you miss me, and I'm making you aware of that. I am someone to be missed. Number 12, avoid the bandwagon of agreeing with someone all the time. One of the sexiest things we can do at times is disagree with someone. Be willing to break rapport, not aggressively, but in a way that shows that we have our own mind, our own opinion, our own way of thinking. I actually think one of the really sweet ways to put this into practice is if you see the person that you're dating talking in a mean way about someone, and you get to just kind of almost check them a little bit, sweetly and playfully. But let's say they're saying something mean about someone, you go, hey, be nice. Now, in that moment, you are calling someone out, and that creates like just a little hair of friction, which is good. That kind of friction is actually good. You're breaking rapport. What it says to someone is, I have a high standard for myself, and you just fell beneath that standard for a moment, and you're confident enough to, albeit playfully and sweetly, check them on that.
And that right there, that's when they realize you're not just charming. You've got integrity. You're not scared to raise the bar, and that makes them want to rise to meet it. So if you're tired of being just another good time, or a maybe next week, stick around, subscribe,